relationships with people. Be honest. That's what it is. Likes are gone, as you see.
What do you mean?
So a lot of like Instagram is rolling out more and more restrictions on how you grow your Instagram.
Really?
So they want to make sure that you are interacting with your followers. You're not just building up a following for the following and that's it. So
that's good to know. All right, so
yeah.
what I've done. All right, since the last time we've talked, I mean, I've literally, so I have like 100 and something followers, and I'm following. I think it's like 157 and 158 that I'm following. So like the number's right even. But what I've been doing is, since we last talked, is whenever someone posts, I'm not gonna lie, I've just been liking everybody's stuff.
That's the start.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So like, I like people's stuff because in return, what I found is they like my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've posted, so since we last talked, I posted my trip from Denver on Instagram.
Yes, you did.
150 followers, I had like 40 likes. I think that's a good ratio.
That is a good ratio. That is a very good ratio.
Yeah. See.
Especially for a person of your size, you usually stay between the 3% is a good ratio. So that's actually really good.
Yeah. See, like, so I was pretty impressed. I mean, I use hashtags. I had to rack my brain with God knows how many like hashtags I put on there. I think it was like 14, 15. So
you can put up to 30.
Yeah, I mean, I got some likes through the hashtags, so I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, I'm gonna need your help on growing that social media because that's where this podcast is really getting a lot of the views. Honestly, big milestone. One of the videos I posted actually hit 100 views the other day. Yeah, big milestone. So I know that's not huge in terms of big streamers and everything like that, but in my perspective, you know, it's
You're not ninja.
It's a
Come on,
win, bro. It's a fucking win to hit 100 on Instagram.
We're speaking to future ninja right here, you know.
Oh man, no, this is ninja, bro. I'm gonna surpass Joe Rogan. That's what I'm doing. We going right for the top.
All the way. You're skipping ninja and everybody?
Yeah, I'm skipping. We going right for the freaking top. Actually, my dream one day is to appear on his podcast. That would be like my fucking Make-A-Wish dream.
I will write that down.
That's my Make-A-Wish dream, dude.
That's awesome.
Josh says, sounds awesome. I'll be lurking and listening for a bit. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I've actually done this with the esports team. We've grown the Instagram using different methods. And of course, it is a different audience, but hashtags is still important. And we've seen the importance of, I remember I had to talk with the managers of the team, like, hey, let's try to repost people's likes. If they like our post, let's repost, show appreciation. Hey, thank you for liking our account and etc. That boosted our Instagram super big. Of course, we did some giveaways of Fortnite V-Bucks and everything to kind of increase it. But we saw that most of the results came from our interaction and our appreciation to our followers. Yeah, that's where they really liked it. So it's interesting.
Well, and so I think that's what makes this kind of interesting because I know you're supposed to have like those sort of niche hashtags, and there's like the podcast hashtags, but there's no like interactive podcast, and that's what I'm trying to really do with this podcast is make it interactive, which is why it can be difficult sometimes when I'm reading comments and trying to keep up with the conversation. And I know people joining in will be like, damn, those guys are kind of ADD. But
we're from here, there.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just the nature of this podcast because of, you know, how someone will come up with a question and, you know, it might be different than our topic, or it might be pertaining to something we said previously on the podcast, you know, before their post even appeared in the chat. So that's a difficult aspect, but yeah, I haven't noticed any like Instagram hashtags of interactive podcast.
Well, what I would suggest you do is investigate. Go to, for example, there's a website called displaypurposes.com or displaypurposesonly.com. free, and you can actually type in a hashtag, get a list of hashtags associated with the hashtags, and see how many interaction does it get, how much, what's the gender split, what's the age split,
Really?
is it used a lot, is it used little, and you can copy and paste these hashtags. If you did your investigation beforehand, you'll be able to see that the hashtag podcast, go to those accounts in the Explorer, copy the hashtags that are most popularly used, and just start weeding out those that are not used as much. It's a little bit of a hassle at the beginning, but if you take your notes app and you just kind of put 4 groups of hashtags, just rotate them as you go. Like one post use group A, next post use group B, next post use group C. That's what we've been doing on the esports side of things. So it's really exciting to see that that's actually helping. So giving you some little tidbits here and there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And anybody listening, man, take this guy's advice, because he's obviously grown his Instagram to about 13,000. And how long have you been doing Instagram, like marketing?
Now, I've been doing, my Instagram has been with me since 2012, but I have not actually started growing actively until maybe about 6 months ago.
Wow.
But again, before that, it was more of a personal hashtag. I turned it into my business Instagram, and then I would focus so much on other people, I forgot about my own.
Right.
So once I started actually putting work into it, then that's when I got the results. So it took me about, I would say, 2 months to get to 13,000 from 6,000. So I almost doubled it there. And then, of course, you get those that are bots or past followers here and there. Right. Those drop off over time. And then you start getting those rich engagement people that actually engage with your content, ask you questions, and then eventually have business. So.
Yeah, well, damn, shit. I mean, you're definitely like the social media marketing guru, so I'm gonna be utilizing you. Shit, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. It's better to do things little by little. Right. You know, a lot of people want to grow it exponentially and then like explode, but then you don't know what to do with that.
Well, that's why I'm so happy that we hit 100 views. Like, I know that seems so small, but it's 100.
if you hit 100,000, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You're like, wait, what?
I wouldn't.
What would I do?
I wouldn't, honestly. If I just overnight woke up and I had 1 million views or
I can arrange
followers, I would freak out. That's a lot of responsibility, especially for being a podcast when you're trying to, you know, put forth the most authentic content that you can, without sort of diluting it with any sort of entertainment aspect or any sort of just sort of clickbaity material. I'm trying to not do that. I want people to know exactly who we are and what you're gonna get out of DayDreams. So if I woke up one day with 1 million followers because they saw a video that I had, I wouldn't know what to freaking do.
Like, you have to deliver them. The next podcast has to surpass your previous one.
That's the scary thing. Yeah, that's the scary thing, because it's always, you got to keep going up. And I would never want to plateau out, and it would be hard to just jump from 0 or 158 followers to 1 million.
Well, I mean, just to give a personal story. I know this is I know we're all over the place, and but I know you told me that that's pretty much the podcast, just talking generally. From personal experience, like I hit a plateau like that. I was putting videos out, IGTV videos, which were popular, but then the expectation was there to always produce a popular IGTV video, and so then I was hitting that wall where I didn't know what to do. And I was like, well, what do I do next? What do I storyboard? And then, of course, with other business coming in, I didn't have time for my own things. Gotcha. So I got away from that and started saying, well, let me be more informational in my Instagram. That was okay, but I saw it wasn't really resonating with my audience. So I started posting more of my stuff, more of my quotes, my take on certain things, a little more traction. And then when I hit that wall, I said, you know what? Let's not take this too seriously. Let's just have fun with it. Right. You don't have your Instagram doesn't have to be always just strictly to a rule. So then yesterday I posted a dancing video of me, and it blows up. And people are like, "What?" Yeah, people are like, "What the heck?" And then that kind of like turns things around. So I've just been learning as I go that you always learn in a lot of the industry, especially if you practice what you preach. And I'm like, well, you know what? Like, it's not all business. You can definitely have fun with it. You can chill, have fun with what you have, because the moment what you love becomes work,
You start to hate it.
you're done. You're literally done.
That's why I haven't been like. I mean, I love this podcast. I love this podcast 100%, but I haven't been pursuing any sort of sponsorships because of that very reason. I don't care about the monetization of this podcast, and I'll be straight up, because of the fact that the second it becomes monetized, it becomes a job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to say that I wouldn't like to make money off the podcast, because who wouldn't want to make money just sitting here having conversations? I mean, that's the dream. But the second it becomes mandatory that I have a conversation just to get paid, that's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to end up being, the podcast that's sold out or got bought. Like, that's not what I want, because at the end of the day, I will have to answer to somebody else, and that's when it becomes like a business in a jail cell. And I'm trying to avoid all that shit altogether. The second someone can start dictating what the fuck I say is the second that's it. That's the second. That's it for DayDreams.
I mean, just throwing it out there, the new Pablo Escobar folding phone, the huge fiasco that came out with this folding phone comes out and then pulls all these influencers to talk about it. But it turns out that it's just a Galaxy Fold wrapped in a gold foil being sent out to people. So the famous YouTuber MKBHD ordered one because, he orders it. And he even said in his podcast, yeah, I get things for free, but I buy most of my units. I don't just talk about things just for the money aspect. This is just what I love doing.
Right.
And he said, he's like, if you guys are just accepting anything just for money, look at what happened now. You're reviewing an amazing phone that turns out when you put some heat into it, it's just the regular phone that you reviewed under another like gold foil. And so I see what you're saying. Like, you don't want to be just blowing up and be handed money and then be paid to speak on something that you don't really feel in your heart.
That's what I'm avoiding. So that's why, again, if I woke up one day and hit 1 million views or 1 million followers, I'd have this expectation or obligation to my audience. Like, I would feel some type of way to kind of meet whatever expectations that they have kind of set for me. And I don't want to be trapped like that. I'm not trying to set any expectations for anybody. I want to set my own expectations, and if you like our podcast based off of what we do, then you can come watch us. But I'm not trying to cater to somebody just because I have 1 million followers or something like that, which I don't. I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice to have 1 million followers. It's not what I'm saying at all. The goal is obviously to get there. But like I'm saying right now, I don't know how I would handle it.
Insert plug here to follow his Instagram. So
yeah. Right.
I mean, no, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing what you're doing. I really enjoy when I first met you, because I know I told you that I wanted to start my own, but of course it's in its baby phases. Right. So I'm still getting everything together. But seeing your passion to it is exactly why I say, you know what, I want to be able to talk to people in that same way and not be tied down to something. I love coffee, but I don't want to be stuck in the coffee business forever, because then it becomes my work, and then I'm going to hate coffee, Right. Same thing with video. I love video editing. I love video shooting. But I had a conversation with one of my friends yesterday, and we both said, wouldn't it be better if you create content for yourself? And that's what you love, instead of having to be tied down to a schedule and a list and a somebody. And I said, that's exactly what I want to do, Right. So
I mean, that's the American dream, man. Like, create your own business, create your own opportunities. It's the American dream.
That's what we all want to do, to be honest. Yeah. Do you see yourself in the next couple of years doing the podcast and something else, or XYZ full time?
Right now it's a hobby, and I really enjoy the hobby. So obviously I have bills to pay. So if, like I said, if I were to get this thing to the point to where it could pay for itself without being controlled or in a jail cell, I mean, that would be the dream. But at the same time, planning ahead, plan B, I don't know. Well, I'm just going to have to see where life goes. Just going to have to see where life goes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I said, if I could get this thing paid for, without being in a jail cell, that would be fantastic. That's the
ideal.
Dream. Who wouldn't want to have conversations on stream and get paid for it?
There you go.
So I think I'd be an idiot to say no to that opportunity. But at the same time, again, I don't want to be bought by somebody. Like that's the stipulation.
That's good. So. That's awesome. I mean that's good. I appreciate what you're doing. It's really exciting to see people do that.
Well, I think the thing that I've kind of gotten from this podcast, and the one thing that I've started to develop more with this podcast, or I've found a niche, is the fact that I can take people with great ideas like you or Mike or one of the guests that I had on a couple weeks ago. His name is, we call him Vic because I can't say his name, Vic Patel. The best opportunity I can give to somebody is the platform to speak and give your opinions on something and just, have some cool ass conversations. So I think that's where I found, kind of sort of a niche. Am I even saying that word right? I don't even know. I just kind of keep saying
I say it differently every time. That's
niche.
Careful how you say that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're not going there. Oh my gosh. Instantly banned. No, not going there at all. Josh says that's super respectable. I appreciate